Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today on this Konmari craft room journey, I want to talk about stuff. Yeah, we always talk about stuff, and it usually isn't even about the stuff, but today I specifically want to talk about stuff. I watched another TED Talk, and it was all about things and how once we own something, we assign a greater value to it. And they did a study where they had a bunch of participants participate in a challenge, and after the challenge they got to choose either a candy bar or a mug. And about half the participants chose the mug and half chose the candy bar. And then they had another group of participants, before they did the challenge, they gave everybody a candy bar. And then at the end of the challenge, they said you can either trade, you can keep that candy bar, or you can trade it for this mug. And most of the people kept the candy bar. They kept what they already owned because they assigned it to have a greater value. And they did a very similar experiment with children, where they led these children to believe that they had built a cloning machine, and they had duplicates of these kids' favorite toys, and they kind of tricked the kids into thinking that this machine duplicated their favorite toys. And when it came time to leave and the kids were gathering up their toys, they became very distressed, thinking that they had grabbed a copy and not their actual favorite toy. Even though they couldn't tell the difference between the two, they became very distressed about that. So it just goes to show you the amount of value that we place on something that we own. If you've ever done a yard sale, and this is why I didn't post my big craft room KonMari cleanup until after everything was gone, because I didn't want to sell my items. I know that if I saw a $10 stamp set going for 25 cents, it would bother me, even though I would gladly give it to somebody. For some reason, seeing it valued like that, even though I don't even want it, it would bug me. It would be like, well, I don't want this, but really, you don't want to pay, you only want to pay a quarter for it? I would be insulted. So that's why I wanted to give it away. I felt positive about giving it to somebody, but I didn't feel good selling it, because I would feel like I was being cheated, I guess, because I'm only getting 10 cents for that, or, I paid $10 for that, I know it's worth blah, blah, blah. Even if I only paid $5 for it, I know it's worth $10. You even want to give me a quarter for it? You overvalue the things that you have. However, giving it away made me feel good, because I knew it was going to people who appreciated it, and probably appreciated it at the value that it truly was. And I don't know, it really doesn't matter, because it's out of the house in either event. Whatever I didn't give to my friends or the local schools and preschools, I sent to Goodwill, because they have the infrastructure to get it to places where it will sell. Regardless of whether you like Goodwill, Salvation Army, or you don't like any of them, they have the infrastructure to get the products to where they're going to go, and it's not in the trash, and it's not in my home. So that was my end goal, was to get it out of my house. A lot of people still come up to me and ask if they can buy stuff that they've seen me, get rid of in the video. And so another reason I wanted to talk about this stuff is because I wanted to explain why it's all gone. It's gone. I've gotten rid of it. Now, there were some things that I held on to, even though they weren't my favorites, and I honestly didn't use them very much, because they are worth a lot of money, or they were worth quite a bit of money, and I just didn't want to send it to Goodwill. Like, it might be an extra set of colored pencils, or an extra set of markers, or something that's still perfectly good and good quality. It's just, I am probably realistically never going to use it, but since then I had a friend that needed some colored pencils, and it was so cool to be able to give her a $100 set of colored pencils. I mean, she was just like, are you sure? Really? Do you want some money? It's like, nope. I want you to have it, and I feel good about that. I feel good about giving you that gift. She felt good about receiving the gift, and I mean, that's what a gift is, right? So, I mean, I guess somebody that was really good at decluttering and a minimalist would have just been like, get rid of the colored pencils. You're not going to use them. You're not, let them go. But I couldn't, I'm not at that level, and I felt good about giving it. But I generally do not feel good about selling my things. Ironically, artwork, I have no problem selling artwork. I guess I always look at that as not something that's going to stay. I always look at that as something that's going to move on. I enjoy it while I'm creating it. That sparks joy. I don't particularly get joy on keeping it. I have a few paintings throughout my house that I really like that do bring me joy, but generally it doesn't give me joy to keep my artwork. It gives me much more joy to sell it, occasionally give it away, but it's also my profession, so I guess I separate that as a personal possession versus a consumable good or a work a work item, I guess. But I just wanted to put that out there. If you guys are if you're thinking about doing a yard sale or selling your stuff on Craigslist or eBay versus just giving it away. I mean, obviously, if you have debt, if you have, if you really need the money, or I mean, how to say, who doesn't need the money, right? You know, you got to make that choice for yourself. But if you just want to get it out, if your supreme goal is to get it out, money's been spent, you've kind of sunk cost, you've let it go, you've, you know, come to terms with the fact that you spent that money and the money is gone, and you just want to clear house, then I really encourage you to let it go. I think a lot of bad feelings can come from yard sales. I mean, some people do it and love it and it doesn't bother them at all, but if you are, and I think a lot of you are, especially with craft supplies, because we buy them with this potential, not just potential for the supplies, but potential on who we are going to become. I am going to be that kind of person that refinishes furniture and sells it in my shop. That's the person I want to become. And if you don't refinish that furniture and it sits there and sits there and sits there, the longer it sits there, the more value you assign to it. And I think the less value you assign to yourself, because you're thinking, well, if I was a person I wanted to be, I would have refinished that by now. And you feel disappointed in yourself. And then when you see somebody only wants to pay 50 cents for it, and you have been housing it, and you have been caring for it, you've been keeping it warm and dry, and it's, you know, been living with you for this amount of time, and you're only going to get 50 cents for it, it seems like it's a waste of an investment. So again, it's not about the stuff, it's about, seems to be more about psychology. I'm not a psychologist, never took a psychology class in my life. If I did, I don't remember much of it. I don't think I did. Maybe in college? I don't think I did. I don't remember it. But definitely, I definitely have these hang-ups over things that I am letting go of. And I do see in some of the comments down below the video, people saying that, oh, I got all this stuff to get rid of, but I just need to do a yard sale. Or people saying, Lindsay, you should do a yard sale. You could make, you know, a few $100 on that stuff. It's like the amount of time I'd have to keep it in my house and the amount of extra time it would take me to organize and put together a yard sale. And the weekend I would spend doing the yard sale, it's just not worth the potential money that I might make. I just wanted it out. Everybody's got to make the right decision for themselves. I don't want you to think that I'm like too good to have a yard sale. That's not it at all. I just know that personally, having a stumbling block, like having to price everything, having to sort everything, having to organize everything, would just make me give up. I would be so overwhelmed that I would just be like, forget it. I'm just gonna live with this crap in my area. I apologize. I know that surprised somebody when I said the word crap in a video. Sorry. I'm not re-recording this though. I am sorry if that offended you. But yeah, it would have been such a stumbling block for me that I didn't do it. So just know that psychologically, when you own something, you will put more value on it than it otherwise would have. Something you own in your home is going to have more value to you than something being stored at the store. So know that. And when you are having a hard time parting with something that you know you were never going to use, just remember, this is in my head. I am attached to this more because I already own it. But if this was sitting in a store, I would not buy it. Think of all the things you have in your home now that if you were to see in a store, you would not rebuy. I bet it's 50% of the things you have, honestly, or you would choose differently. So keep that in mind as you're decluttering. Keep that in mind when you are at the store too. I think when we're shopping in real life, it's a little bit more tempting, because you pick something up. Maybe you walk around the store with it. Maybe you think about owning this. Maybe you're like, oh yeah, this is gonna go home with me. I'm gonna look pretty snazzy in this, you know? And you know, before you know it, you've put some sentimental attachment onto it, where if it was just a picture online, you would scroll on by. So it's powerful. It's powerful holding something like that, envisioning the person you're going to be once you own it. But things don't make us who we are. We make ourselves who we are by what we choose to learn, what we choose to do with our time, how we choose to spend our time, and who we choose to spend it with, what we contribute to the world. That's what makes us us, not all of the things around us. All of these stamps, all of these paints, they don't make me an artist. The fact that I create art makes me an artist, whether I'm using a $2 set of watercolors from, you know, a craft store, or if I'm using a $200 set of watercolors from a fancy art store. It doesn't matter. Those things don't define me. Those things don't make me an artist. Those things don't make you an artist. Creating art makes you an artist. It's not about what you own, especially if those things are owning you. You have to make sure that there's a line there. So just just keep in mind, and I'll try to link that TED Talk down below. It was just another one of those animated shorts, but I thought it was very powerful and very interesting how we value things more once we own them versus them just being in a store or hanging on a wall. Oh, funny story here, and it's funny and sad, I guess. Not really sad, but so my husband bought a truck a couple of years ago. It was a used truck. It was pretty old, and he was considering selling his car. And I said, well, I wouldn't sell the car because it's a lot newer and it's reliable and it's got better gas mileage. Plus, we're gonna have 3 teenagers pretty soon because our kids are really close in age. My son can get his permit in a couple of months. Oh my gosh. Can we start another therapy session for this? So I was thinking, well, we should keep the Camry for the kids. You know, I think I would never go out and buy another car to have it for the kids in a few years, but the fact that I had it, well, no, I don't want to sell that for what it's worth right now, because we're just gonna, you know, oh, we're just gonna get ripped off because we bought it for this amount. It's only gonna be worth this amount, so we might as well keep it for a few more years so our kids can use it. I mean, I do think it's a smart choice, but it's definitely one of those, you know, since we own it, you know, I just feel like, well, it's still worth what we paid for it, which, you know, no car's worth what you paid for it. It loses value when you drive it off the lot. But, you know, the fact that you know, the fact that it's a safe car and it has low mileage and it's, you know, I'm just looking at the time here. I've been gabbing for 11 minutes. Oh my goodness. The fact that you know, we already had it, and I'm like, no, I don't want to sell that and then have to go and rebuy a vehicle in, you know, 3 years when the kids are ready to drive. Absolutely not. But I didn't realize it, but it's the fact that we owned it which made me want to keep it. I didn't want to sell it and then, you know, have to go rebuy something in a few years. I guess it's a devil you know, maybe that's also it. Just like you may be unhappy with your, oh, this is good. I think I found a connection. You might not be happy with, say, your internet provider or your health insurance provider or, you know, something else, your phone company, whatever it is. You may not be happy with it, but you know what you're getting. It's the devil you know versus the devil you don't know. You could switch insurance companies and then realize nothing that you need is covered, and, you know, you're paying tons more money even though you thought you were getting a deal. Or you could end up changing phone providers only to realize that when the introductory rate was gone, you ended up paying a lot more money, or the customer service was horrible. At least with what you have, you know what you're getting. You may not think it's great, but you at least know what you're getting. So it's the devil you know concept too, I think. Oh, it's all related, and it's not about the stuff. Well, it's kind of about the stuff. I don't know. Tell me what you think in the comments below. I really enjoy these weekend chats with you. I love popping into the comments all weekend long and seeing what you guys have to say, because it really does, it sparks joy in my Sunday. I sit on my porch, especially if it's nice outside, and I reply to the comments. It's so much fun. I really enjoy spending time with you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm really done talking now. Till next time, happy crafting.